Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
I know what no's are. No is just a no for now. You just keep knocking on that door, and eventually that no is going to turn into a yes. And with cancer, so the first time was a real shock. The second time, it had come at a bad time in my life because I had just left my job to do click and carry full time.
Today, I'm chatting with Kim Meckwood, entrepreneur, founder, and inventor of Click and Carry. This episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Grill, one of my favorite places to eat and drink in any PA. They've got one of the best outdoor patios with 13 TVs and over 20 beers on tap. You can also dine inside at this cozy Irish-style pub where your beer never goes empty. Did I mention how delicious their food is? Their in-house smoked brisket, barbecue ribs, and wings are to die for. So grab your friends and have a drink on me at Kavanaugh's. Mention code STACKS for one free draft beer with purchase of any entree when you dine in. Located at 163 North Main Street in Mountaintop, Kavanaugh's is open at 4 p.m. during the week and 12 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday during football season. Dine in today at Mountaintop's only Irish-style pub. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn.
Hey Northeast PA, Paul Perfect Storm here. Do you want your kitchen or bathroom to go from this to this? Well, Perfect Storm can do it.
Need a kitchen or bath remodel and don't know who the experts are? Perfect Storm Renovations. Expert designers and installers who can help you achieve the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Schedule your free in-home design today. Perfect Storm Renovations. High-end quality anyone can afford.
What's up, podcast? It's Bill Corcoran Jr., host of the On the Stacks podcast here in the Blue Door studio, protected by our friends at Ritchie Security Solutions. Kim Meckwood, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so fun to be here. I'm back in Pennsylvania for a year or two, for a bit.
Yeah. Back from the West Coast.
Yep, Los Angeles.
But back home here.
Back home. I'm staying about a year or two. I'm renting out my place right now to traveling nurses, and it's fun to be home.
Yeah, welcome home.
Thank you. I miss northeastern Pennsylvania.
But you don't miss driving on 81 though, do you?
I do not. This sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I prefer our 8-lane highway so I could stay in the middle and drive really fast. Here it's different. When I have to drive by a median, it makes me crazy. I get scared.
So you're driving like 8-lane highways out there.
Yeah.
Like how is the driving different from people out in California to here? Like what's the difference?
Oh my gosh, it's night and day. We actually understand the rules in Los Angeles.
People actually follow the rules?
Yes.
Do they?
People know
do they,
that.
Though?
They really do. And when people
But just drive faster.
They drive a lot faster. But for example, when people go up to, let's say, a red light or stop sign, you do not go left. You do not have the right of way. Here, people just decide to go left just because.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's cuckoo.
Right?
It makes me nuts.
Okay, so we got to talk about this for a second because that's a huge pet peeve of mine. So so as the person turning left on green, if you don't have the green arrow,
if you
right?
don't have the green arrow,
right,
exactly.
Right,
That's the only time you get a pass.
Right. So you have the right of way when you have the green arrow, right? Okay. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this because if not,
Yes.
I'll stand corrected
No,
here.
it's true.
However, I am. There's a very specific spot in Wilkes-Barre. Do you know where Home Depot is? By Wegmans and Wilkes-Barre.
I
Because you're a Scranton person. Okay.
Yeah.
But for the people that are listening that know what I'm talking about. There's a CJ, I think it's called CJ's Pizza.
Okay.
Okay, so I go this way every day. Like I go through there probably almost twice a day every day, right? And it's that exact situation where I'm going right. Okay, I'm making a right.
You have the right of way.
And the people coming out of Home Depot, like coming towards me, if they're going left, they're going left and I'm going right. So you could see what's happening here, right? So what happens is they don't have the right of way, right? They just have the green, and I got the green, and I'm turning right. I have the right of way.
They have to yield,
and they do not. That intersection is like the worst. It's the absolute worst. I don't think there's any intersection in this whole area that's worse than that.
I don't know why people get away with it. How do they not know the rules?
Yeah, why don't they? Isn't that like that's just like driving 101.
Exactly.
That's like the simplest.
It's my pet peeve as well. It's shocking. It doesn't happen in Los Angeles. You would get shot.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would people just
you would at least get you would get some dirty looks.
They just like run you off the road. Like what would happen?
Well, I mean,
Bad news.
I've been known to flip off people, and I'm lucky I'm alive.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Especially out in LA, right?
Actually, I live in a nice part of LA.
Do you?
So,
Yeah. Cool.
It's the west side.
Yeah. Never been. Oh, no. Yeah, actually, I was just in LA like one time. Like LA, LA Live, like downtown.
That's downtown.
Yeah. Okay. I was there one time, but I wasn't there long. I was there for a Penn State, the Rose Bowl. I went to the Rose Bowl.
Aren't they going to the Rose Bowl again this year?
Yeah. How crazy is that?
I was at the one that they beat the Oregon Ducks a long time ago.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm by the ocean.
Okay. That's better.
It is.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, the downtown's pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
It's a cool town.
Yeah. On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor.
When our doctors or hospitals fail us, the lives of our clients and their families are often forever changed. Whether it's a birth injury or a botched surgery, a misdiagnosis or a medication mix-up, there's a severe impact on our clients and really that of their entire family. We have a team of experts that we rely on to get the answers for our clients.
And now we're back on the Stacks. So we got to give a shout out to our friend Marty Wolf, by the way.
I love Marty Wolf. I think he's wonderful. He helped me from the start.
Did he?
My dad was actually his coach, and he has been so generous with his time and effort with me. Gosh, I was so green when I started in entrepreneurship, and it was always a side gig until the last 2 years.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so Marty introduced us, and
he's super.
Marty's
smart.
Marty's firing good guest recommendations over at me, and you were one of them. So
I'm honored.
So you're here.
Thank you.
You brought the California sunshine.
Absolutely.
Back, I hope.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So what's you're not used to this cold stuff now, right?
No. It's like
a shock for you.
It is. In fact, it's funny because since I'm renting to traveling nurses, it's okay if I have a room open in January, February, or March, because it would be okay to go back for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
and escape the cold. But it's not as bad as I expected. I've been running outside at Lake Scranton, so I'm getting used to it slowly but surely.
You're a runner?
I am.
Yeah. Have you always been a runner?
I have. I had to stop for a little bit. I was sick recently. I had actually a second bout of breast cancer, so I stopped running for a bit, but I'm back at it, and it feels great.
Awesome.
I love it. It gives me energy.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that stood out to me about you, we had a little conversation before you came in, was two things. Number one, you're a 2-time breast cancer survivor.
Yep.
Which is awesome. My mom is also a breast cancer survivor.
God bless her.
Yeah. So shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom.
Love you, mom. Biggest podcast fan, by the way. She watches every show. So
well, you're her son,
yeah,
and this is a great show.
She better be watching.
She better be watching.
You better prove that you watched this episode, mom. But then also, you hold the record for the most attempts. 7 attempts to be on Shark Tank.
Yeah,
and you made it.
It might have actually been 8. So
was it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I wasn't going to give up because I knew that I needed the exposure, and I didn't have the money for that free $500,000 commercial, which is what Shark Tank is. And it was an awesome experience, but I actually made it to work with the producers on this. It was the second time I applied. It was the 3rd season. And at the 11th hour, they nixed me. So I was told by a guy named Bill Godsmith, who's really sweet, and I still talk to him to this day. He's actually a real estate agent now and a friend on LinkedIn. But he said, don't worry, you don't have to reapply next year. We'll just call you back. But then he left the show. So I didn't know him. But I know. But you know what? Things work out the way they're supposed to. But it's funny because by the time I finally made it to the show, all the casting agents knew my name and knew me. So they actually called me when they found out that Sony and Shark Tank finally accepted me. And I was actually shopping at the grocery store and I had a click and carry with me. And I started crying. In the
grocery store.
Yeah, I was just so happy that I finally made it. And interestingly, I filmed and then I didn't make it to air. So after all of that, after the big deal that they made about it, that I applied so many times, I didn't make it to air. And I don't know why, but the executive producer, who was so sweet, his name is Clay Newbill. I love him. He's my idol. He called me in February to tell me I didn't make it on air, and I didn't know it was him. And I asked a million questions like, what did I do wrong? What could I do to change your mind? I heard that they film 150 people and 130 made it to air. The math doesn't make sense. And then I said, excuse me. I said, I'm sorry, who am I speaking to? And he said, it's Clay. And I shriveled and I said, oh, Clay, I'm so sorry. I said, honestly, this was one of the very best experiences of my whole life, and I can't thank you enough. And I asked him if an archived episode ever makes it to air, and he said, well, I never say never, but it never happened before. And then fast forward to May, I get a call from Clay, and I didn't answer it. I didn't know it was from Clay. It was from Cambria, and they must use some Google service that disguises the numbers. And I could tell in the voicemail that he was smiling. So about 10 minutes later, after I was able to retrieve the voicemail, I called him right back. And he said, Kim, do you remember when you asked if an archived episode ever made it to air? And I said, yeah. And by the way, this was May, the first 2 months into COVID. And he said, do you remember what I said? I said, yeah, you said, I never say never, but it's never happened before. He said, guess what? It happened. And ABC bought my episode. And I don't know if he had anything to do with this, but that guy is magical. And my episode didn't air until December 11th. So this is actually my 2-year anniversary. Yesterday was my 2-year anniversary. And it was the perfect time because my product is a perfect stocking stuffer. So I don't know if he finagled it or if he had any help, but I consider him my guardian angel, and I think he's awesome.
Yeah, timing. Talk about timing.
This is pretty great.
All right, so wait, Clay
Newbill.
Clay Newbill.
He's amazing. He's the executive producer. There are 3 executive producers, but he's just a great guy. They're all great. Everyone,
shout out to Clay.
Yep. Shout out to Shark Tank too.
You better send this episode to Clay.
I'm going to. I really love him.
Selfishly, I want him to see it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I will definitely send it to him. I wanted to send him. He's from Florida, so I sent him key lime pies. I wanted to thank him, and I want to give him an update anyway of what's going on with Click and Gary.
Awesome. Very cool. So, okay, so it took you like 8 tries, and even on the 8th try, they said it's not going to air, but then it did.
Then it did. In fact, mine's the only one without social distancing, so it's really set. It's season 12, episode 8, so it really sets itself out from the others for obvious reasons.
Yes. What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh. Well, so it was one of the best days of my life, but also one of the scariest days of my whole life. I was in the tank for about 50 minutes, and it's nonstop questioning. And everyone has their own mics and headphones on, so they don't really hear each other, so they're talking over one another. So it's kind of like herding cats because you have to pay attention to the right people and make sure that you answer the right questions. But at one point, I was so nervous, I actually ran out of saliva, and I really did.
The dry mouth.
I did. And Lori asked me a question, and I said, hold on a minute. And luckily, I hit a bottle of water off the stage. So I left the stage and went and grabbed the water and took a drink. And everyone was hysterical. They were all laughing because that's 101 TV broadcasting. You do not leave the stage. But I honestly had nothing else to speak with. And I kind of regained my composure. I think I needed that little break, but made it back, and I was shocked it didn't make it to air because it was pretty funny. And oh, by the way, all of the casting agents were in my filming because they all knew me by name, and they were all pushing for me by this point.
You're a returning customer.
Exactly. I was like the bad news bears, or I was. Yeah,
everyone knew
they
you.
felt sorry for me. They're like, finally, she
get
makes
this
it.
lady on the show.
She better get a deal after all this.
Yeah. So okay, so like going back to that, like so I mean I've seen the episode, right? So what were you saying about people have the headsets and whatever, and you can't see people? So that you're not talking about like the actual scene that I saw on TV, right? So like the one that the episode like I saw that you were on there.
Yep, they were all really there, but they don't hear each other very well because they're talking over each other.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see.
And in my episode, it was mostly Barbara and Lori, and it was edited slightly different than it really happened because Lori was in until the end.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Those jerks.
But it was an amazing experience, and everyone was really nice. Even though Mr. Wonderful was kind of a jerk, he was actually kind of nice. He was kind of teasing me because at the beginning, I tried to set it off with humor. I said, "Hey, my mom told me to tell you to be nice to me," and he wasn't necessarily nice to me. I think I provoked him and made it worse, but it was kind of fun banter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So but you ended up getting the deal from them.
Yep.
Right?
With Mark and Barbara.
Yeah. So how does that work? Like, explain how that all actually like works.
So what happens is it's a verbal deal, and then you have to do due diligence on the back end. And my deal actually didn't go through. There's still a chance, and it's a long story, but I'm in a group with other Shark Tank people, so I'm still in touch with the sharks. I could reach out to them at any time, and they have been really wonderful. And, Barbara's people said, oh, yeah, if you have anything to ask us or an introduction. And I'm actually right now making Dallas Maverick click and carries that I'm going to send to Mark Cuban. And but this group that I'm in, it's phenomenal because there are about 10 to 15 of us who meet weekly on Zoom. And it's kind of a best practices because chances are one person who had an obstacle with their business, chances are another person in the group knows how to resolve that issue. And it's been phenomenal. And recently, we all met in Las Vegas. There were 160 of us, and we're up to about 700 people who aired, whether they made a deal or not. And in February, it was in September, September. And it was just phenomenal. There were 160 companies, and different experts within the group would teach the classes. And it was one of the best trips in my whole life. And I really appreciate the fact that I have this support system because being an entrepreneur is sometimes lonely.
Yeah. Talk about that for a minute because that is it's a less talked about thing in the world, right? Like what's that experience been like for you?
So before it was really lonely. Now I have this peer group. I'm in a bunch of different groups in the Shark Tank group. So
you built this great network.
It's phenomenal. And that's why I say, I will get my click and carries in the hands of Mark Cuban because of one of my favorite pals. And I'm in a couple of different groups. I'm in the moms group. I'm not a mom, but I have a product for moms. And I'm in this other group that is for, outdoors. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a phenomenal experience. I love the network. I love that I could reach out and have my question answered. In fact, interestingly, I've been getting a lot of business because of influencers or affiliate marketing. And a couple of different affiliate marketers did segments on Click and Carry. In fact, I had one last week. It's amazing. His name is Logan. It's Logan and Erica. And he did a post last Saturday. I'm still reaping the benefits. It's huge. And it's up to 1.6 million views. And he just randomly selected Click and Carry. And there is another guy, Simply Sal. It's Simply Sal Finds. He did about 3 episodes on Click and Carry. So what I did to both of them is I reached out to them and I said, thank you for selecting me. I'm honored. I said, I have all these pals. Why don't I reach out to them? We'll do a Zoom. You name your price or let's negotiate a great price. Give us a deal as a group because you'll have a year's worth of content. And it's been working out very well.
That's so cool. And then what is it? Is this Instagram, TikTok, or like it's
both? All of the above. YouTube. Yep.
Wow, very cool.
Yep.
So so they randomly selected you. Like it wasn't like you didn't have to pay them.
Nope.
Right.
With
At least to start, at least.
yeah, with Logan, I actually sent him product because I knew that a couple of my friends worked with him. For example, there's this guy, Josh, he owns Foozy, which is a very cool case cover for cell phones and computers and iPads and things like that. And he paid Logan to be reviewed. And so I just reached out to him on Instagram and I said, can I send you some product? And he said, sure. He said, but that doesn't mean you're going to get an ad. And I said, no, I completely understand that. I said, but I would love for you to check it out. And then I forgot about it. And then fast forward 2 months, I get a call on Friday night. Hey, Kim, I loved your product. I'm going to review it tomorrow. And he gave me a 10 out of 10. And it's honestly increased my sales by probably about 7 times for the last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's been great.
That's crazy. Good for you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled. So,
Yeah.
and he's such a cool guy. So I'm setting him up with my pals too. So turns out they're both at the same agency. I had no idea. So affiliate marketers are getting really cool now and they have their own agents.
Yeah.
It's a real Hollywood thing now.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That is crazy. All right. So I want to kind of go back a little bit to, like I said earlier, the 2 things, for me that stood out, is your 2-time breast cancer survivor, and then just along your entrepreneurial journey, with how many attempts and everything you made to get on the show, and you were relentless. You
have
know,
to be.
I mean, like, I just want to talk about that for a second because I just, I love having a conversation just around that topic of never quitting, never giving up, and like, how do you stick to it? Like, what is it for you, throughout your life, your journey, breast cancer, that whole, 2 times, like, how do you keep going?
Well, my motto is no is just no for now. I've always been in sales. So out of college, I worked for AT&T actually, but it was called Singular at the time. And I always had sales jobs that eventually went into pharmaceuticals and then medical device sales. And these are difficult items to sell. So for example, I sold deep brain stimulation, which is a pacemaker for the brain for a Parkinson's patient, essential tremor, or dystonia patient. So my clients were neurologists because they had to sell that surgery to their patients. And then I would have to go into surgery and make sure that the surgeon implanted properly, but they knew what they were doing. Like, I basically was just there for a conversation. Don't let me fool you.
Yeah.
But I know what no's are. No is just a no for now. You just keep knocking on that door and eventually that no is going to turn into a yes. And with cancer, so the first time was a real shock. The second time, it had come at a bad time in my life because I had just left my job to do click and carry full time. So it was a bad time. Luckily, I still had the great insurance, and but what I think about in my head is the fact that it was actually in the same location as the first time. So what I think, and maybe I'm just telling myself the story, but my surgeon agrees with me, maybe a microscopic amount was left behind and it took a whole 9 years to grow back, which tells me that it's a slow growing cancer. But interestingly, I actually made this special click and carry.
There it is. That's right.
And this one has the pink breast cancer ribbon on the top of it, and 11% of the proceeds go to the NBCC, which is the National Breast Cancer Coalition. So I want to give back in some way, and this is my way to do it.
Very cool. That's awesome. You do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what was your medical experience like? Like you said, like you told the doctor, like, hey, I think this is why, but he agreed, right? Yeah. Like was it, because I just find a lot of times, in the medical world, like, you have to really advocate for yourself.
It's very true. So
that comes from my mom, by the way, and I know she's gonna be like, you saying that because I said it, but it's true.
No, it is. You do have to be an advocate because people don't know what they don't know. So because of my experience, I worked for almost 20 years in neurology. I knew that I had to advocate for myself and I had to learn everything. And I became very close to my nurse practitioner. In fact, it's a weird story, but she tried to get me on Shark Tank because her stepdaughter was married to Mark Burnett before his current life.
Crazy. Small world here.
So,
wow.
Yeah. And here's an even more weird story. So I was on QVC about 13 times, and QVC at one point did a special for breast cancer awareness, and they asked me to be on an episode. So I have this awesome video that they came out to Los Angeles and they filmed me, and I talk about my journey, and they featured a doctor. Well, as luck would have it, they featured my doctor. He's world famous, but it's so weird that year, Dr. Giuliano was also in my episode. It's really cool. I have it all over social media, so you can find it. It's on my Instagram and my Facebook, and it's super cool. And Dr. Giuliano is seriously wonderful. He treated a lot of famous people, and I didn't go to him for that reason. I've been with him for about 16 years. I went to him because he's good. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, not just because he works with celebrities,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. He actually knows what's going on. Yeah.
Because I have a little bit of a different wealth level than they do, than they have.
Yeah. So but you know what's so interesting when you said how you just said, like, you know, how people are connected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know what the saying is, the degrees of separation, whatever the hell that is, but the point of it, like, it's so true. Like, it's so true.
It really is.
And like, you don't know like who knows who and who's connected to who. And I really think that, like, I think it's less than what they say. What is it 7 degrees of separation?
It's
they say,
6,
right?
and I think it's Kevin Bacon.
I'm saying
6
7.
degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Is that what it is? 6? Yeah, I think it's less.
I think so too.
I do. I think it's less.
It's a small world. You can't imagine how many people live in Los Angeles from this area. And I bump into them randomly.
Yeah,
in fact,
that's so wild.
This is a crazy story. I came in from a run. My friend Padma wanted to come and see me. She's a neurologist in Phoenix, but I'm friends with all the neurologists, so she wanted to say goodbye before I moved back to Pennsylvania for a bit. And I went for a run because I didn't know what time she was going to come. And I walk into my lobby, I grab my mail, and I have an Eagles hat on, and this girl stopped me and said, "Are you from Philly?" And I said, "No, I'm from Scranton." She said, "What?" And she said, "What is your name?" And I said, my name is Kim Meckwood. And she started crying. And I said, "What's wrong?"
You made her cry. Yeah.
What's wrong?
What did I do?
Yeah. And she said, our dads were best friends. And so we chatted.
Wow.
I said, "I actually have a tenant right now. She's also from Scranton. You should come and meet her," because it was right before I started renting to traveling nurses. And my friend went out to work for the Ellen show, actually Warner Brothers. So anyway, this girl, Beth Ann, a loony, turns out her dad and my dad were best friends. My mom and dad used to go on double dates with their family. And when I called my mom to tell her who I had met, who lives in my same building, there are only 24 units. It's crazy. She said, "I actually went to Beth Ann's wedding." So that's spooky bizarre.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And her boss is going to actually speak to me. Her boss owned Philosophy and sold it for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm saying like probably 1B at least.
Wow.
Because Philosophy, everyone knows what Philosophy is.
Yeah.
But she's introduced me to Christina, so I would love it if she'd be interested in being my partner.
Yeah, super cool. So are you still looking for like an investor?
I wasn't, but I want an investor now. I don't want to sell a lot. I'm still the 100% owner. I really need to expand, and I can't continue to do so many of the jobs. I need to delegate, and I can't do that without a significant investment. So I am looking for an investor now. So if anyone's interested, give me a holler.
Listen up, people. Send the DM. Yeah. Call me on my click and carry. You know? So all right, so take me back to the beginning of this thing. How did it get started? Why did it get started? Take me through that.
Okay, so this is a kooky story, but
That's how it always goes, though, right? It always.
I've always been one to invent. I mean, I remember.
Yeah, you are an inventor.
Yeah, I've always been. I remember when I was a little kid, my best friend was a boy, AJ Zambetti, and we were trying to catch a bird, and we did it the way that cartoons teach you how to do it. Basically, a milk crate, a stick, breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Well, we caught a cardinal. It was pretty magical. And then my next invention, I was about 15, and I invented a waterbed raft that basically imagine one of those little kid pools that have the 3 layers of tubing, and the bottom's pretty much just thick plastic, so you would feel the coldness from the water, but you would still be without water seeping into the raft. And then I took it a step further, and I had these 2 cords that connected to, let's say, a Clorox bottle filled with sand. So you could knot it according to the depth of the pool, and you could aim your raft at the sun so you have the perfect tan.
Perfect angle.
The perfect angle. And I told my mom about the idea, and at the time, this is not the way to do it, guys. But at the time on TV, they advertised that you can get a patent and this is how you invent things. And it was $800. My mother wouldn't give me the money for it. And no joke, about 3 years later, we saw it in all the pool stores.
Come on.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to miss, I wasn't going to miss it again. So what happened is this was born out of necessity. So when I lived in my first place in Brentwood, I lived with my boyfriend and we dated for about 8 years. And when I would go shopping, I would call him. He would come down and grab all the groceries because it's a walk up. And I never had to carry in my groceries. So when we broke up, I had to carry in my own groceries. I started eating out a lot, spending a lot of money, gaining some weight. I knew there had to be a better way. So actually, Click and Carry came to me in a dream. And it was actually the same exact shape, but it was just the bottom. And the problem with that is if you set it down, the bags would pop out. So I knew I had to have 2 pieces. So the next iteration included a magnet, but I knew that that could hurt kids because people would lose 1 of 2 pieces. So I went through about 9 iterations before I had the winner. Once I had the winner, I made a mold and just to make sure it was viable, and it needed some modifications. It didn't work. It worked, but it didn't work well. So what I had to do is I had to redesign it, but I redesigned it with a male and female part so it makes the click sound.
Oh, I
Hence
see.
the name Click and Carry.
All right.
And then once I had the mold in place and I manufactured, then it was time to get a utility patent. But that took almost 3 years. But it was worth the wait. And then I have a second utility patent because I made a couple of other modifications too. And now I'm working on a new invention that should be out, I'm hoping within the next 3 months. I just received some of my 3D animations on Saturday. So I'm getting excited. It's a very cool product and everybody's going to need one.
Awesome. So can you tease it a little bit or no?
So it's a strapping system that connects to the Click and Carry, and it allows you to, so for me, the reason I invented it is because to bring a case of water bottles up to my condo is a pain in the butt. So
So you're solving more problems.
Exactly, because when you carry a case of water bottles, usually you just use your extremities and you carry it in front of you.
I carried that whole case over there the other day.
It's a pain in the
Carried
ass.
it all the way from like the end of Wegmans out to my car.
Yeah,
I was too stubborn to put it in a cart.
I get it. Well, listen, you know what I used to do in Los Angeles? I would just open it in my trunk and just bring up maybe 10 bottles at a time. Well, there's no need for that anymore because my strapping system basically has a shelf on the side. So there's 2 belts. There's a belt here and a belt here, and you use your hips as an anchor. So you're using both your back and your hips. So you're using physics. So a 35-pound case of water bottles, it's actually 32 pounds, case of water bottles doesn't feel like 32 pounds. It feels like you're maybe wearing 10 pounds. And I have this special contraption. So when let's say you lean forward, the case of water bottles is not going to fall forward. It stays in place. And you could actually use this hip, or you could actually use it in front of you, like back in the 30s when they had cigar and gum saleswomen.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
It's very cool.
Well, congrats.
Thank you.
So like, how do you design this stuff? Like, do you work with somebody? Like, you do it yourself or
I
both?
do. I work with my friend Drew, and another case of it's a small world. So Drew and I met out in Los Angeles. He lived in Long Beach, so I worked with him on some other designs in the past, and he moved back to Pennsylvania before me, so he's close to Philly. So he and I reconnected, and he loves my idea, and he sees the way I think, because he used to say to me, "You think in 3D, and I do too," and we do. We see things, so we could describe it and know what the other's thinking and see the motion of the product. And it's funny because even in my past, I always recommended 2 neurosurgeons in particular, because not only were they neurosurgeons, but one was also a biomechanical engineer and the other was an aerospace engineer. And I think they have a different spatial quality. So that's how I feel when I talk to Drew and we brainstorm. In fact, we were going to brainstorm the other day for 15 minutes and it ended up being an hour and a half. And but I did get some awesome renderings from his 3D CAD.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what's the next step?
So once we agree upon a design, so then we'll hire someone. We're looking at material now, so it's probably going to be neoprene, but we'll find someone that could sew it into existence based on the pattern. It's all works with the patterns that are produced on the 3D CAD.
Gotcha.
And
This is like deep stuff here.
he has some really cool programs too. There's this new program where they can tell you how many stitches you need in your piece of equipment, and they actually show it walking on the runway, so you can actually see it in action. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And he followed all the advice I asked him. I'm not going to say more. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do that.
The motion.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But the thing is, it could be modified for so many different uses. For example, there are people, let's say painters, who go up on ladders, and they can actually have a tray with their paint right there.
There we go.
On their side. They could wear their paint, but they could wear it in such a way that they're using physics. So even though it may weigh 15 pounds, after several hours, that's a lot of weight. But because of this invention, it will feel a lot lighter because you're using your back as the support system.
Right. Yeah. So you can move more weight, carry more weight,
Exactly.
and have a lot less strain on the body.
Yepper.
This is wild. I don't think I've ever had anyone on the show that's ever invented anything. I think you're the first.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a cool process. The funny thing is, I never realized that I could do it. I had another boyfriend. It was actually after Matt. That's a lie. His name was Shaheen, and he had an invention. His invention's a really good invention too. It's basically it's a way to make cardboard remain cold for dry packed ice, and he did really well. But I thought to myself, if Shaheen could get a patent, I could do it too. So that's what inspired me. And I drew my picture for him, and he said, "This is a really good idea. You need to go for it." And I did.
Yeah. So going back to that, like, remember, like you were saying, like you told your mom about that one idea with the pool thing, right?
The waterbed raft.
And she said, "No, not going to loan you the money," right? Like, how do you deal with, because I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of rejection.
A ton.
Like how do you deal with that? How have you overcome those obstacles throughout your career?
Well, there are always naysayers. There are always people who are going to say, "Oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Watch me. It's going to work." Or even just even in sales. I mean, some people, "Oh, that's a waste. We have Cinnamate. We have a dopamine agonist. We don't need that surgery." Well, no, this surgery for the right candidate is a life changer. It could bring them back 5 years in the disease progression. So it's educating people as to why they should invest or why they should use the product or how it can benefit them. So it's just, I just keep trying. The only place in life I won't keep trying is, let's say, I'm dating someone and they're not liking me. I am not going to chase them. That's the only time.
Yeah, it's not a fit.
That's right. That's the only time.
That's the only time you give up.
Yeah.
It's not really even giving up. It's just moving on.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But everything else you will not give up.
I will not give up, because no is just no for now. And listen, all those beautiful buildings, all this amazing camera equipment, that was all invented by another person. So why can't you do the same?
Yeah. So where did you get that from? Like, where do you think you got that mindset of, like, never giving up and just being persistent and relentless? Like, was there, can you think of or recall anything, like, from, like, your childhood of, like, I don't know, anything? Like, is there anything that made you, like, think this way?
Yeah, I just think, first of all, I think I've always been this way, and I've always been an entrepreneur. I used to paint rocks and sell them door to door, but I think it happened at first when I was about 5. My neighbor next door, his name is Bob Booth, he invited us to the flea market. It was the first time I had ever been to a flea market, and probably the last time. But I went with my older sister, she's 4.5 years older, and his daughter, Belinda. And they wouldn't let me sell with them. So Bob felt sorry for me, and he gave me a bunch of records to sell. And this guy came by and wanted to buy all of them because it was cute. And I showed them. I saw.
Yeah, you did.
I had the choice. I could either keep the $50 I made, or I could get a rabbit. So of course I picked a rabbit.
The rabbit. You gotta,
yeah,
Schnookums.
Schnookums. Yeah.
Schnookums the rabbit.
Schnookums the rabbit.
Awesome.
But I think that kind of showed me, hey, listen, Billy and Shelly won't let me sell with them, but I made my own way, and I made a lot more money than them.
Yeah, found your own way.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the way to do it. I believe it too. And but when did you start running? And the only reason I'm asking is because, like, I, in my previous life, not that I'm really old, but, like, in my previous life, I'll say, like, I ran in high school, but I was a runner, and we have this, like, similarity, this thing in common, and I think for me, part of like running is like, you know, never giving up, right?
I love it.
Like, when did you start running?
Probably maybe my third year of college, because I transferred out from the University of Scranton. I went to San Diego State, and I started running in San Diego, probably because the weather's so awesome. And I would run on the boardwalk. It's just stunning there. And I never stopped, except I stopped recently because of the cancer, and radiation made me so exhausted. But I recently started running again, and I am really digging it. It keeps me young. It keeps me excited. It really does give me energy, and I love it. It's my form of exercise. I wish I ran in high school. I was a baseball player and cheerleader, but not a runner. I wish I were.
Yeah.
Happened to be at the same time as softball.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's just also something, I think anyway, just like about running, and, you know, because I remember, you know, back when, you know, when I was a runner, you know, I don't really run anymore, but I remember always people would always like kind of make fun of the runners, you know. And
Really?
Yeah. So like, but the funny thing, like the joke always was, is like in every other sport, like football or whatever else, whenever somebody like does something wrong, they usually get told to go run. Yeah. Right. So like that's
it
like a punishment.
In softball.
Yeah. Right. So it's, exactly. Yeah. So you know, in most other sports, you got told to run when you did something bad or wrong. It was like a punishment. But like my sport was the punishment.
I love
right?
your sport. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it teaches endurance too. It teaches you to handle the pain and just to keep going.
It does. I agree, and that's why I brought it up, because it just has that similarity.
It does.
In terms of persistence and not giving up, and because it's running's tough.
It
like,
is.
if you're doing it like competitively or just really trying to like better yourself. You're not just going for like a light jog, you know.
Exactly. I mean, I time myself every day, and I want to beat the day before. That's the goal.
Yeah. Whenever I did it, I was like 0 to 100. Like, even if I were to start running again tomorrow, I wouldn't even ease into it. Right? I'm like that guy. Yeah, I'll just go like 100%.
I wish I were the same. I eased into it because
I probably would have to now too.
Yeah,
but
the last 2 years, like, it really took a lot out of me. So
what was it like coming back from that?
That was a tough one. It wasn't what I expected. And what's worse is afterwards, I had to take this drug that I'm supposed to take for 5 to 10 years, but I'm not sure I'm going to continue. It wreaked havoc on me. My body just doesn't agree with it, with the hormones in it, and my face broke out. I had gained weight. My hair got thin. It was worse than going through the surgery and the radiation, but I'm deciding what to do. I think if I just monitor it, I really do think it was a slow growing cancer, thank God. And I can't prove that, because if it lasts more than 5 years, it's considered a brand new diagnosis. But I'm just gonna, eat right and take care of myself, and probably go off of the tamoxifen, to my doctor and nurse practitioners' dismay.
Yeah. All right. So tell me a little bit more about the Cali life.
Oh, I love it.
How long have you been out there?
A long time.
Since
I was 20.
College, right?
Since I was 20, yeah. I love it. California life is for me. That's why I still have my place. But I really did miss out on seeing my family for many years. I would come home for a couple of times a year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and as long as I possibly could. But as I ended up getting into more serious careers, you just don't get that much time off. And going through cancer, and then also going through COVID and feeling lonely, I'm really excited to be home with my family. I really needed it, and I'm super duper happy. But I do know that I love the sun. I love the lifestyle. We have awesome restaurants. It's very different. And people say, oh, it's so expensive. I understand why my property taxes are ridiculous. It's worth it. It's worth every penny.
Yeah. So okay. So the food is good.
The food is great.
Like what type of food?
Oh my gosh, we have the best Italian restaurants. In fact, there's one. It was owned by the woman who owns. Oh darn it. I can't remember the name of her bread, but she's famous for it. But she partnered with Mario Battelli, and she has my favorite pizza place. It's called Pizza Moza. It's delicious. She also has another place next door called Osteria Moza. She's amazing, and La Brea Bakery. I don't know. Wegmans probably has that bread.
Okay.
She sold it back in the day for like $52 million, and open up all
Couple
these
bucks.
restaurants.
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
bucks.
Couple
And,
bucks.
I mean, back in the day. So,
Yeah, so-
that was like probably 15, 20 years ago. So 52 million then.
A lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
She's
Inflation.
She's a rock star. But Mario Batali's out of the thing now because of other issues. But so his name's no longer attached. He got into some trouble.
Okay, we won't talk about him. I don't know what he did, but whatever. But so they actually have good pizza in California.
We have.
I don't know if I believe this.
It's
Kim.
right hand
Kim.
up to God.
Kim,
A true story.
is it better than here? It can't be. Kim.
Yeah.
All right, show's over. Good night.
I do think Ravello's is pretty great. And I haven't been to Pizza 11, but I'm grabbing some, even though it's Monday. I'm not sure if it's open on Monday, but I'm going to grab some Pizza 11 on the way home because I haven't had that in years. I used to have it when I had
It's the best.
math study parties at my friend Karim's house back in the day.
Pizza Lovin's where it's at.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. So, but you like the Cali pizza better.
It's
Like
magical.
what what type of like pizza is it? Like is it anything similar to what we have here?
No. Actually, there are a couple of places here now. I went to what is that winery?
Here?
Here.
What is it? You said a winery? Give me like a place like
It's north of
Hunlock Creek
of
maybe?
Clark Summit.
Or no. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name. It's right on the tip of my...
Molatesi? Or
Is that what it is?
it's
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I don't know how to pronounce it. Molatesi or...
Yeah, they have.
That's pretty darn close if that's not the
It's
name.
something, and I should know
Right?
this. Actually,
Sorry, Molatesi.
sorry.
Sorry,
Your
guys.
pizza's so good, and the chef's name is Sal. He did a phenomenal job. And long story longer, that girl that I met, Bethiana Looney, in my building, those are her cousins. So
This is nuts. Oh my God.
I know, but they have good pizza because
Yeah.
it's a round pizza, but it has a thicker crust and it's homemade dough. Oh, so good with sun-dried tomato. It's yum.
Delicious.
Yeah. So I would recommend that place. And I do like Ravello's. I mean, I've always been a fan.
It's classic.
Love
yeah.
it.
So they got good pizza out west. I never thought that anywhere had better pizza than Northeast PA. I would never would have thought California.
We have some awesome restaurants though, because a lot of people go out to eat pretty much every night of the week. So what happens?
$20 a slice probably out there
It's
though.
outrageous, yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
worth it. And there's this place, it's called Uovo. They fly the pasta in from Italy. It's so good. So yeah, we have
That's wild.
we have access to some really good food.
Flying the pasta in.
Yep. Every day.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That must be must be the most expensive pasta dinner ever.
It's actually not so bad.
No?
They're small portions, but it's like $15 or $16 for a plate. And the idea is to share with your friends. So you order a bunch of different ones. But yeah, we have good food. It's like Las Vegas. They have good food too. They have a lot of really good restaurants. So
Yeah.
it's spread down south.
Yeah. Well, all right. We'll have to get out there and try that pizza one of these days.
And we have surfing.
Yeah,
And
and you're on the beach. You're on the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't beat that. So like,
Yeah, I'm 3.5 miles inland. So it's a quick run to the beach.
yeah, pretty close.
Yepper.
Do you run all the way there and back? Is that your route?
I don't. I used to run that route because it would be 7 miles round trip because I live in Brentwood and I'm right next to Santa Monica, which is right on the beach. But no, I don't run that far anymore. I run about 5 miles now.
Yeah. All right. Well, close enough.
Yeah,
But either way, you're super close to the beach.
Yep.
And that's awesome. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
But you're little cold now here in NEPA. So
Mm-hmm.
what are you looking forward to doing while you're home here?
Well, you have really good food here too, especially the Italian food. And I'm half Italian, so I'm always down for the Italian food. There are so many good restaurants there. In fact, I was just at Anthony's on Saturday night. It's yummy.
Where's Anthony's?
It's in Old Forge.
Okay.
It's
I'm not too familiar with some of the places up there.
It's really good. And there's an Italian place across from the casino. It's
Across from Mohegan?
Pazzo, I think it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Pazzo, yeah.
They
Mhm.
have really
Very
good food too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'm digging the food and I'm digging the old friends. I'm bumping into a lot of old friends and it's
Hanging out with the family.
In fact, last night we usually go to my sister's every Sunday night for dinner, but there was a snowstorm, so they're all there tonight. But luckily, she's saving me food.
Nice. Nice. You gotta save the leftovers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So all right. So what's besides the new invention that's coming out soon, right? Like what else? Like what else is going on for you in your world, in your business?
So I actually recently just competed in a competition, a pitching competition. I didn't enter it. They asked me to. I was grandfathered in. They called it. Wow. Sorry. Why am I? I was grandfathered in, but I can't think of what. Oh, I was the wild card. They said you could be the wild card, and I said okay. So I won the semifinals, and then it was down to 12 of us. So I competed in DC. I didn't win. They went with environmentally friendly products, which completely makes sense. And all 12 girls were phenomenal, and everyone had great products. But I knew even if I didn't win, it was going to be great exposure. And I spoke to buyers at Target who are helping me with my new packaging that I'm working on right now. And the diversity supplier at Walmart is very interested. And he actually contacted me again on Saturday. So cross your fingers, I might be in Walmart, and I'm developing a less expensive version just in case they think this is too pricey that I could customize, because I could easily customize the click and carry. So I could do a special Walmart one.
Yeah. Exclusive.
With 2 reusable bags. And because reusable bags are the way to go. I know that Wegmans outlawed your plastic bags now, which is a good thing.
They did, yeah. Every time I go there, I'll go to the checkout line with like 8 items, and then I'm like, oh no. I have to buy a bag. Forgot about the bag thing.
Yep.
I'm walking out like this.
See, we've been used to it. This has been a thing for 6 years in California. So I keep my click and carry with at least 8 reusable bags, and then I'll bring them into the store. I'll put them on one side, hang it off the cart. So then I just unload my grocery cart, and then I hand the checker my reusable bags, and you're saving the environment. But it works with plastic bags too, just so you know. But it's a great way to use your reusable bags and to help the environment. And I actually also, you wouldn't need this, but girls will put their purse in the cart and stroll away from their carts. You can actually lock your purse into the cart with a click and carry.
It doesn't get stolen.
Well, the person would have to know how to open the
at least
it
would take
it
them
would be a deterrent.
They're not going to they can't just swipe it real quick and be gone.
And you could catch them by then.
Yeah.
If you're a runner.
Run after them and tackle them.
Yep.
Yeah. But going back to you were saying, having just your family, being home with family and everything.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of weddings. I had a family wedding. It's just fun. I forgot how much fun my family is, and we have a new baby. My niece just had a baby.
That's right. Congratulations. Yeah.
We're so happy. Baby June is the cutest thing. She's been in a lot of Shark Tank commercials for my fellow pals.
Yeah. Nice.
Because she's that
famous.
cute. And
she's gonna be famous.
She's gonna be.
How old?
She's 10 months. Yep, almost a year. She's super cute. She's super pudgy, and we're just so happy with her. So it's been fun.
Very cool. So what else? How can our listeners connect with you online? How can people buy your product? What do they need to do?
Well, first off, I need all the help I could get on social media. So if there are any young hottie girls out there who want a spokesperson job.
You say hottie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want the younger and the hotter, the better. You could be my spokesperson because that's what I need. I need more viewers, but I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's at Click and Carry, ClickandCarry, and on Facebook it's just Click and ampersand Carry. And then you could buy Click and Carry at my website, which is clickandcarry.com, Amazon.com, Lowe's.com, Kroger.com. I'm in Meijer grocery stores, a couple of Krogers on the West Coast. So I'm getting there slowly but surely. I'm meeting with Lowe's in a couple of weeks. After
exciting.
The holiday. Yeah, because this is perfect for paint cans and construction pails.
Yeah.
And I'm on their site, but I'm listed as a bag carrier, which it is. It's a bag carrier, but there are other ways to use Click and Carry. For example, it's for paint cans and construction pails, for dry cleaning. You could carry sports equipment. There's so many different ways to use it. You can walk multiple dogs at once, but then once you get it home, it's actually a stand for your iPhone or iPad.
We used that today.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, so check out the pictures.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, one other thing I wanted to ask before we finish, because you mentioned, I couldn't remember how to circle back to this, but you said, like, you were saying about how Wegmans here, like, they just got rid of the bags, right?
Yep.
And it's been that way in Cali for, you said, what, 6 years?
6 years.
6 years.
We did revert back for about a year during COVID because they felt it was safer versus the cloth
Sure.
bags that may carry germs
And
of
hold,
COVID.
hold bacteria. Yeah.
Yes. So we've reverted back for a year, but now we're back to reusable bags
Yeah.
only. And you get used to it. I know that a lot of people think it's a pain in the butt here now, but you're going to actually enjoy it. And
Oh yeah, you won't even miss the. I know it's a pain in the ass right now. Like I said, I forget all the time, and I'm walking out with trying to juggle 10 million items. But we'll get used to it. But I think the point of it was, and I wanted to just ask your opinion on this because you've been on the West Coast for a number of years now. Obviously you come home to visit once in a while, but one of the things that, and I know you already know this too, what I'm about to say is that not a knock on this area because I love Northeast Pennsylvania.
Me too.
And I always I never want to talk negative. This isn't like me bashing it, but this area is a bit behind in terms of I don't know, everything like technology to stuff, environmentally friendly things, just a lot of things, right? And and this is a perfect example where California was, you guys were 6 years ahead on that, where we just outlawed it now, right, or whatever it is. But do you find, is there anything else anything else in California? Like, give me some tips here that we can move NEPA forward a little faster.
Well, hopefully there was a new bill that was just put into place where they're going to invest in our infrastructure. For example, out there, we have basically electronic ports everywhere for Teslas and all of the different electronic cars. They're everywhere. In fact, you get a prime seat at the mall if you have an electronic car because you can actually power in, get your car charged for free, and you get the prime seat because you're protecting the environment. Plus, you get a tax deduction. So that's one important thing. You're going to be getting that now. That's what the infrastructure bill is going to do. They're going to invest in these electronic ports. So someone who has a Tesla, I actually saw 2 today. I was surprised. Where I live,
there's a decent amount around here.
there are.
Yeah.
Where I live, they're
Like
a dime a
everybody?
dozen.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone has one. But here they're fewer and farther between. But that's something that will change. But one thing that needs to change
Here?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. What is it?
People litter here. It's
Oh my God,
disgusting. This is
the
your
worst.
home. This is your home. Make it beautiful. Don't litter.
Yeah, what's
No
up with
litter
that?
bugs. No litter bugs.
Yeah.
Keep your place clean and beautiful.
Yeah. What else? Is there anything else like that we could do here?
People are super nice here. They're super nice there, and I think that the moral of that story is if you're a nice person, people are going to be nice to you. So look people in the eyes and say hi.
Yeah. You don't have to be rude.
You don't have to be rude.
Especially at the grocery store.
Exactly.
People are wackos at the grocery store.
Sometimes, but
Aren't they?
you could turn them around with a smile. So,
Yeah.
so the moral of the story is both places are pretty great as long as if you give out the niceness, you're going to get it back.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. So that's another California thing.
Yeah, good vibes only, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And don't forget, people, learn how to drive, for God's sake.
Yes, you can't take a
Listen.
left. You do not have the right of way when you're going left. You have to yield.
Yes, I think one of the most important things coming out of this episode is me finally addressing that intersection
At that Home Depot.
CJ's Pizza and Home Depot. It is the worst.
Damn them.
Oh my God,
They
Kim.
better learn.
Kim, it is. I mean, because it happens to me every day, and I get cut off
It's
every
bad.
day. It's almost an accident every day.
It's bad news. And guess what? You'll be at fault if you're turning left when you're not supposed to turn left.
Yeah.
So
Stop doing that.
stop doing that. You're going to hurt people.
Yeah, listen. Learn how to drive, people.
And don't flip anyone off in Los Angeles.
Yeah, don't do that. Too many cars, 8 lanes, a lot of people.
Yeah,
You don't know who you're flipping off.
exactly.
It could be Clay.
It could be Clay.
It could be Clay. So
Can I tell you one last quick story?
Yeah.
Okay. One time we were doing a conference call with my former boss. There were 10 of us on the call. And I forgot that I wasn't on mute. And I am the nicest person, but when I'm driving, I have terrible road rage. And
I think we all do.
I said
secretly.
many, many choice words, and everyone just started laughing. And my boss, Rob, said, I've driven with her before. She is not as nice as you think she is. It was embarrassing though. I said a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bleep, 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 bleep,
Yeah.
bleep. Yeah.
I'm probably threw the bird a couple times too. Like,
Yeah.
it was bad.
Well, when those people that turn left when they're not supposed to.
Exactly. They have
get
it
it.
coming.
I get it. So stop doing that, people. I'm finally glad I got that in, by the way.
I am proud of you.
Wow. I've been meaning, like, every time I go through that intersection, I've been meaning to just take a picture. Like, not like while somebody's cutting me off, because I feel like that'd be very dangerous and I'd probably crash. but I've always been meaning just to post a picture like on social media and just like, 'cause I didn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
who is the striver?
Yeah,
out them.
But like I feel like other people in this area probably have the same experience I have, and I've never seen anybody else actually discuss this like on social media, and because that's what I was saying is
It's shocking to me.
Yeah, but me to just post a picture and say like, has anyone else experienced this in this intersection? Because there's no way I'm the only one.
No,
It happens to me every day.
Bill, next time you're in the car and you're with someone, make them
There we
film
go.
and
There we go.
send me the video.
All right,
I'll post it too.
there we go.
We're gonna take those people down.
I won't curse though. I'll try not to. All right, there's your driving lesson, people.
There you go.
Well, Kim, this has been great.
I had a fun time. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you came in. Thanks for the product.
Of
Appreciate
course,
it.
enjoy it.
Save my fingers at the grocery store.
Don't forget the key is to evenly distribute the weight and we'll magically sit on your shoulder
That's it.
and feel like half the weight because your back is such a good support system.
There we go. Well, enjoy your time home.
Thank you.
And looking forward to seeing what you're doing in the near future.
I'll come back with a new invention.
Next time. You're not allowed back until you have a new invention.
Okay, done.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, and send my best regards to Mark Cuban and the gang.
I will. And
Sharks.
I'll actually send you one of the Dallas Maverick click and carries.
All right, cool. Awesome. Let me know how that goes.
I sure will.
Yeah, keep in touch. Awesome. Well, good luck. Seriously, I wish you the
Thank
best
you.
of luck. I love what you're doing. I love your positive spirit, entrepreneurial spirit.
Thank you.
So-
I'm right back at you. Congratulations on your amazing podcast.
Thank you. This is fun. Good vibes only,
Absolutely.
right?
Hang 10.
That's it, right? Just like, there you go. Yeah. True West Coast person here. Awesome. All right. Kim Meckwood on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.